These are the things I kind of want to share with you today and put it in a way. I'm not trying to be too quaint about the ABCs, but in talking about the ABCs of successful investing, and they are, first off, let's talk about how to adjust your expectations. I just think it's incredibly important at this time that we have a recognition of the reality of where we are. And a prime example of this that I want to give is where we are with mortgage rates. A lot of folks are looking to, buy a house for the first time, sell the home, move someplace. And right now you have a real estate market that is largely in lockdown because interest rates have gone up, have risen so rapidly within the last 2 years. And I want to give you a real life example of that. Where I'm sitting is the home that I built about 2 years ago. And when we closed the mortgage on the house, I locked in at a 3.125% interest rate. If I was to go out basically 25 months later now, my interest rate would be north of 8%. In fact, it'd be around 8.375%, about 8.375. And I just ran some numbers on that. And the difference would be, instead of paying about $2,356 a month on my mortgage, if I did that same mortgage today, it would be over $4,180. That's an increase of $1,824 a month for 360 months. It's a 77.43% increase. And we all have the nostalgia of longing for the interest rates in the 3%, 2%. Actually, Will can tell you that he has a mortgage that's under 2%. Man, it'd be great to have all that. But the reality of the situation now in the real estate markets are that mortgage rates are substantially higher. Same thing for cars, same thing for lines of credit. Credit card rates have all gone up. These things are going to be imposed on us, and it's taking the time for the market to, this is what they've done. And it's taking a long time for particularly buyers and sellers of real estate to understand that they're trying to sell a house in a significantly more expensive financing situation, and that buyers are going to have to step up and they're going to have to spend significantly more if they're going to spend the same amount of money. Really, what's going to happen is it's going to have a compression on real estate prices, and we're seeing that. The good news out of the adjusting the expectations, though, are you can also see it on the other end if you're investing. CD rates, money market rates, bonds, the returns on bonds, how much they're paying, have gone up significantly. There's opportunity out of that, and being able to adjust your expectations to the new financial markets is incredibly important. I'm showing the S&P 500. If you look at the block on the right, on the picture on the right-hand side, a lot of people have this expectation the S&P 500 is just, I'm going to start putting money in this, and I'm going to see it going up every month. There is no market that goes up every month. We want to make sure that we have an understanding that all of our expectations are going to have to adjust as we go through these markets. So here's the challenge. It goes on to behave rationally. And you're going to notice here that I've put up a picture of two people. One's obviously in distress, a little frustrated. Mostly the other person is a little more thoughtful and calm. Please notice that we did not put a picture of Spock in here. Nobody is unemotional, okay? When we see not just losses, but also gains. It's not just the anger of things or the fear of loss, but I've also seen times where people get overly emotional, overly optimistic, too jubilant over the expectations that, like I was just saying, something is always going to go up in price. And it just simply does not work like that. Life does not behave like that. And we need to adjust to that. There's the old adages of fight or flight, fear or greed. And we have to take the emotion. We have to make sure that we have the emotions, obviously, but we have to make sure that we do not act upon those irrational feelings when we actually make the decisions about what we're going to do. And the good news is financial markets really don't behave like that. They're not so time sensitive normally that something has to be made a decision has to be made in the next 30 minutes or hour or something along those lines, you have the time to go take a walk, take a breath, sit down and analyze the situation, let your emotions clear out, and then come back and let's truly address how to make rational decisions. One of the greatest clips ever is if you want to see somebody that has to behave rationally under time compression, go watch the movie Sully, which is the movie about the pilots that lose both engines over New York City with a full plane, full fuel, and they go through the decision-making process, land in the river, and without a single loss of life. It's the most amazing thing. And their conversation and their thought process is a real inspiration about how to behave rationally, particularly when seconds matter. Then the last part is, I want you to commit to your plan. I put in a picture of the Constitution. I did this slide for the events this past weekend, but it is a reminder that 247 years ago, you had a group of people that got into a room, signed a document, swore their lives, their property, and their sacred honor to a plan. And I've also want you to have a focus on having a plan, but also realizing that you're going to have flexibility to it, but do not make sure you continue to have that commitment to your life, to your plan, to where you want to go in life. These answers to me are very, very similar to a sailing journey. Everything seems to break whenever you're on a boat. It's always harder to get there, whatever. But as long as you're committed to the plan, you'll reach your destination.